skateboarding is one of the best life lessons, and I tell people it's just because you're failing all the time. You're constantly trying tricks, failing, and it's like skateboarding is just like life. It's not about you're gonna fail. It's just what you do when you pick yourself back up.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, we are in the studio and we are about more than halfway through the year, but I'm excited because we got our July meetup here tonight, Beers and Deals in downtown San Diego. And if you're listening to this and you're like, man, I'd love to come out sometime, we'd love to have you out. Second Wednesday of every single month down here in downtown San Diego. But I'm very excited because I got a special guest today. I got someone who's in the skateboarding industry, someone who I used to watch as a kid growing up. I got my man, Brandon Turner. Brandon, welcome to the show, brother.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for having me,
Yeah,
brother.
dude, appreciate you coming on,
Yeah.
man. It's cool to be talking with you because I used to skate as a kid growing up,
Yeah.
and I probably skated like every single day until maybe like middle school. And I remember watching you in like Shorty's Fulfill the Dream videos and all that sort
Yeah,
of stuff
yeah,
back as a
yeah.
kid.
Those were the good times, you know what I mean? And a lot of people, come up to me and tell me that like, yeah, I used to skate. That was the '90s era.
Yeah.
So
I don't know too much about skating these days, but dude, back then, man, it was like those videos like Shorty's Fulfill the Dream and like Chad Muska, is it Costco?
Costin, he said
Costin.
Costco. Yeah,
It's been a
he
little
he
bit.
might as well be Costco now.
But yeah, I remember even like rocking like a lot of those shoes, like the Chad Muska like ES shoes. They had the little pocket in it, and just freaking watching. Like I was always a fan of you guys, and you guys were always just ripping it as skaters. And so I know a lot of people looked up to you guys at that time.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate you, man. And,
Yeah.
and speaking of Muska, he was one of my early first mentors,
Really?
so that was
How'd you
a that
how'd you
was an
meet him?
honor. He used to live in San Diego, so I met him down at the beach in Pacific Beach, Pacific Drive, and then once when he started Shorties, I got the call, and it was like Michael Jackson calling you to ask you to be a part of Jackson 5. So
I can imagine, bro.
I
Yeah. So what year was that when you did the Shorties video? Do you remember?
think I got signed up with Shorties in like '98,
Okay.
like '98. Yeah.
Okay. And back then, like, what were the sponsorships like? Because I just got my first brand deal now. I'm 38. I just got my first brand deal with Built. They brought me in as like,
Congratulations.
thank you, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. They brought me in as like a brand ambassador. And usually, like, I usually just plug my own stuff, like our own products and stuff like that, to raise or to invest with us and all that sort of thing on the real estate side. But with Built, like, I love all their clothing. I was rocking all the Built stuff before they even reached out to me.
Yeah.
And then they just reached out on Instagram. They're like, hey, we see you rocking our stuff all the time. We want to send you like a care package. And that's kind of how that relationship went on. But I'm such a believer in Built. I wear all their stuff, even their underwear and socks, that I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I'm excited for them.
Yeah. They're like, we know you wear the underwear too, so we wanna plug you. No, that's organic relationships are always the best when it starts like that. When you believe in a brand, and to your question about how it was then, it was kind of the same thing. There's politics, just like in any industry. You start doing the work, and then somebody notices you, and hopefully it's a brand that you are already supporting, and then it works out the best. And sometimes it's transactional, but the organic approach is always the best.
Totally. And you were young back then when you did the Shorties video. How old were you?
15,
Damn.
15, yeah.
That's pretty cool, dude. How old were you when you started skating?
Man, I first hopped on a board when I was like 2,
Damn.
because there was a local surfer who lived on my block who would skate by every day, and then, he put me on. But, I've been skating all my life, so it's like breathing to me.
Yeah, I imagine, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
So, with Chad being a mentor, what was like one of the biggest things that you learned from Chad?
Just like, kind of a lot of what, a lot of these influencers are like speaking and preaching and everything. Like from a young age, that's what the difference was with our success, because we have people like Chad Muska just like, do what you love, don't care what anybody thinks, follow through, be consistent, have a plan, and just have no fear.
Yeah, I always remember him rocking the. He's always skateboarding with the boombox.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
like his jam. He always skated with that
Yeah,
thing or what?
yeah. He always had the music blasting just because of the frequency of the music and everything. That's part of the skateboarding culture. along with art, fashion, and all that, that was all encompassed in skateboarding. So that's what makes skateboarding so cool is because we have all these other influencing assets with creativity that makes the art that much more cool, you know?
Yeah, totally. So I had your boy Brandon Novak on the show
Yeah.
about 5 6 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and that's how we connected.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Brandon, and dude, freaking just hanging out with him in here, I was like, what a fucking stand up dude, man.
Yeah. It's,
Good guy.
Brandon's my boy. He's not my boy, he's my brother, you know. We help people work together in the, substance abuse and mental health community. So and we use partly like our story and our skateboarding and everything to kind of, put that together to use, our diversity and our story to help others. So like I love Brandon. He's solid, you know?
Yeah, yeah, good dude. And then I had your boy Mikey Taylor in here like a month ago. He was down here for a podcast meetup. Did you ever do much skating with Mikey Taylor?
Yeah, yeah. Back in the day, Mikey Taylor, amazing skater, and it's so cool to see him transfer and change his his passions into business and kind of being a platform to educate skaters and stuff of and everybody kind of what to do after your passion or that check is done and a lot of skaters and a lot of people who are in the sports industry of like kind of they think it's going to be for forever and like kind of what do you do after that fame moment and or your football contract or skateboarding like it's kind of your identity. So he's been a good medium to you know help inspire people to do other things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Now, football is tough because, like, those athletes, I mean, their shelf life could be 3 4 5 seasons in the NFL. What's the nickname? They say NFL not for long is what it stands for. I've
mhm.
heard a couple people like joke about that, but in all reality, I mean, I've had some NFL guys on this podcast, and they all tell me they're like, dude, you just never know, like when it's just one injury, and then there's your freaking entire career. And even if you play like a long career in the NFL, I mean, you're 34, 35. Like, think about that. That's still freaking young for most people. And so you have this whole different chapter. But like for you guys, it seems like a lot of you skateboarders have a longer shelf life than a lot of these other sports. It seems like, I mean, how old are you?
I'm 24, switched around.
You look 24.
you know
But like, I mean, you're still rocking it, right? And it was only what 4 years ago you won the trick of the year in 2020, and you did what was the trick? You said it was a switch. What?
Switch hard flip.
That's so sick.
Yeah, thank you.
Over how many stairs?
It was a big four. It's a legendary spot in the skateboard industry. It's Wallenberg. It's in San Francisco, and it's just like not you do anything down that hasn't been done is like a big deal because it's so big and it's so legendary and yeah and I use that to inspire people too because a lot of people talk about age and oh I'm this I'm getting old and I always tell people you're telling your cells and your body and all that you're old and really if you die tomorrow you're young so I did that when I was 38 and I use it to show people it doesn't matter how old you are. It's you might just have to make some lifestyle changes and take care of your body more and stop partying or eat different or start taking your body more seriously.
Yeah. Dude, I agree with you, man. It all starts in the mindset, and I love that you said if you died today, you would be considered dying young. And I think that's a good way to look at it because I hear so many people, even in their young 30s, like, "Oh man, I'm old." I'm like, dude, once you tell yourself that, then yeah, you are going to be operating at a slower capacity. And if for me at 33, I felt like I was stuck. I wasn't growing. I knew I needed to make a change. And it's funny because now I'm 38 and I feel like I'm just getting fucking warmed up because I
Yeah,
have this whole new energy. I'm around a whole entirely different circle now, and I'm building my own thing. And so, like, for me, happiness stems from growth and progress. And because of all the growth and progress, I'm like, I feel younger, And so I think a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm going to retire as the end game and go sit on the beach and do nothing. But I'm like, I think the end game for me is to continue playing the game because that's what keeps us young, mindset wise. I want to continue to play this game forever.
absolutely. And it's all perception. And like you said, if you're gonna tell yourself that, then that will be, and it's just like this is life and what we're not here long enough to learn everything, and so you can learn something new every day. You can switch your mindset, your passion, what you're into. It doesn't have to be this program of what you think life is. It's life, and it's like it's in abundance, and it's forever as long as you tell yourself that. And there's always something new you can do. And there, and really for a lot of people just stuck in jobs or their career, and they get their 401k and all that stuff. There might be something that you are the best at that you just never tried or experienced that might be easy for you and hard for others.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with the skateboarding thing, I'm curious, like, how has it evolved over the years? I mean, you started, back in the 90s, and then you saw the 2000s, and now obviously it's a whole different game, I'm sure. But give me an idea, like, for the listeners out there that are curious, like, a pro skateboarder, where does most of their income come from? Is it the sponsorships, or is it going and like doing X Games tournaments and winning prizes? Like, where does the majority of the income typically come from?
Their parents? No, I'm just endorsements. Like usually it's a solid shoe deal or an energy drink sponsor, and royalties like usually from shoes, and like probably depending on nowadays how it's changed is like your shoe sponsor was your money back then, and you'd make a little bit from your board sponsor, and then you'd get incentives, and all that. But now it's like it's wide open. Like the internet changed everything. You can be your own self-proclaimed superstar, and like it was back in the day, there's no real like supermodels anymore or anything in that industry. Like, as so to say, like you back then you would get a video like every 4 years or whatever, but now the internet's so fast, there's just so much content and everything. And then with TikTok and everything, you can monetize things in so many different ways. So there's some people just supporting themselves, and I don't think it has to do with how good you are nowadays. How it used to be really hard. Like it for me to become a professional skateboarder, it was like I had to prove over and over and over again that I was like one of the best and stuff. And nowadays, not taking anything away from the new age pros and stuff, but it's just not the same. You can, if you got a little bit of clout and followers, and you got some people to support you, that's sales, right? So a company sees that, and they're gonna capitalize on it.
Mm. Give me an example when you say that. Like, if you got people that support you and that sort of thing, that's gonna give you more clout. What do you mean when you say that?
It's just if you got a following
Oh, I see what you're
basically,
saying.
and you
Got it.
can generate that into sales, then
Got it. If you got the attention and the audience and that sort of thing.
yeah, the core like skateboarder, like how it was back then, it's just like it matters how good you are and stuff, but if you're marketable and you can translate that into sales, like they're gonna make it happen. And even if it's not the skating, then like we're gonna have you like model for us and do commercials and influencer stuff.
I see
So
what you're saying. Yeah,
mhm.
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think it's the same reason why like, you got, I mean, let's face it, you got YouTubers that are like doing professional boxing matches now, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
Exactly.
And it's like they're not the best boxers in the world, but they're good at getting attention and they got a lot of eyeballs. And when they do a fight, everyone's buying the pay-per-view.
Absolutely. And I'm sure they're selling out, just like that. Like Jake Paul's selling more tickets than boxers that are better than him. Like going back to what I said, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you can ignite that excitement in someone and translate that into sales, then you're a business.
Yeah, totally. No, that makes a lot of sense, and I guess that probably is easier today to have your come up because of social media and all the technology, if you know how to use it correctly, versus but you did it the hard way. I mean, literally, you did it the hard way. You had to grind, and the people that found out about you were people like me, watching these skate videos back then, right? That was probably they didn't have Instagram back then or
No,
TikTok.
no, it was really word of mouth from the streets. Like
Yeah,
you had to be like known like that. So it was way different.
totally,
And
totally.
then it's just like it's cool. It's just like I enjoy the the progress of like the life we're living now, and how everything is at your fingertips. But just like to say, like going back to boxing or something like that, people, there's still like old school people like, oh, this is lame. Like this isn't, he's fighting Mike Tyson. Like he doesn't deserve to even be mentioned in the same name as him. But it's just, it is what it is. And
I mean, I'm not mad at those guys. Like, there's a big bag involved, and people are hating. But I'm like, how can you hate on two guys that are gonna go into a match and they're gonna get paid the way they're gonna get paid? You gotta respect the hustle.
you got to.
You
And
gotta respect it.
I mean, you could see it in like this day and age with everything, not just skateboarding. It's just like, hey, a lot of people put money in front of integrity. So
Mm.
that's what I've seen, like, and that's what it is when people used to say, for instance, like, Nike was hard for them to get in the skate industry at first, but skate industry was hurting and, you start giving people a bag, like, like, and now it's, one of the biggest companies in skateboarding, obviously, because it's Nike and stuff. But like I said, like a lot of people will just be like, oh, whatever. You can almost do whatever in the world now. And is if you're making someone a lot of money, it's just like, hey, well, I got a bag, so you can't tell me nothing.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think today's age with social media and the ability to create a personal brand from scratch, I mean, anyone can do it. And I think with the way the algorithms are now, like anyone can go viral. And so it's really like evened their level the playing field, if you would. And I would say, like, I tell people all the time, because you hear a lot of people like complaining about the news and the politics and all this bullshit that they can't control. I'm like, yo, like, just to put it in perspective, like, we live in the best era ever in mankind, like ever in history of Earth, because anyone now can literally pick up an iPhone and build a personal brand and get attention and start monetizing it. It's like it's never been easier,
Absolutely,
you
I
know?
agree. I mean, everybody can win.
Everyone can
Everybody
win.
eats.
Everybody eats. And then in addition to that, it's like you got, because of all these platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, you got the podcasts out there. You have so much free information out there and a free education to, like, you can literally like learn any fucking new hobby or any new skill for free now. Like, we think about YouTube, how much information's out there on YouTube. If you really just like picked a new skill and you're like, I'm going to just dedicate the next 6 months to this, with all the free information out there, you could become pretty damn good and like figure out a way to make a lot of money. And so I think, there's no better time or era to be alive right now if you're really like out there like thinking, okay, what's next for me? Like, what's this next hustle? Like, what direction am I going? I'm like, bro, you can go whatever direction you want. And I think the problem might be for a lot of folks is there's just too many options, and so they just get like flooded with all these different options, and people just don't know where to start. And I think everyone wants like the quick like dopamine hit. They want that quick get rich quick like scheme, and so they'll jump into a new thing. They'll try it for like 2-3 months, and then they'll realize, oh, this is a little bit harder than I thought. And like in all reality, like you got to stick to something for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months to actually get good at something. And so people give up and then they jump to the next thing and then they jump to the next thing. So they never actually see one thing out long enough to where they can actually get good at it and see results. And so I think that's the biggest problem, although it's an opportunity at the same token.
Absolutely. I mean, and even in any failure or success, and I would just say to anyone, like, hey, if you're like too many options and you don't know what you need to do, just like think about what you love and
Mm,
what you're interested in and what you love to do, and then focus on that and do something with it and
yeah.
find like-minded people who think like you. And it's so easy to connect with people like that and just like stay focused, stay committed, and stay consistent.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So, you mentioned earlier in the show about, you know, taking care of your body, eating the right foods, and that sort of thing. And I think that's so big. I mean, we see a lot of athletes, professional athletes like LeBron James, for example. I've heard him say that he throws millions of dollars at just his personal body, taking care of himself, and just like the nutrition aspect of it. And he has all the best coaches and personal trainers. And, you realize like at every level, all the high performers I know, a lot of them, they don't drink. And if they do, it's like it's very minimal, like once in a while type of thing. But also they have coaches like at every single level, whether it's like a mindset coach or like the best personal trainers and all that sort of thing. And they're always reinvesting into themselves. And so I guess my question is, with today's modern era and all the medicine and stuff that we have at our disposal, are these modern like new age skateboarders, the guys at the top right now, are they investing a lot of money into their own body and all these like coaches and stuff like that?
Absolutely, and that's what's has changed with nowadays is like skaters. didn't have coaches before and like kind of like, look down on skateboarding being a sport, but now the athletes have trainers. They're looking into their body. People ain't going crazy, drinking a lot, and they're taking skateboarding like super seriously and changing their mindset and body and having a therapist and having a trainer and a coach and mentors and which is super important. And me growing up, like I had naturally just skating with like older people. I had mentors and stuff, but it wasn't organized, like, and the way I would do things now is like, I believe everyone needs a mentor, definitely take care of your body and, anything that isn't, fulfilling you is like
Mm.
hurting you.
Mm.
And just to look at that, like if it isn't an asset, it's a liability, when it comes to it. So if it's not doing things for you, then it's doing the opposite. And that's kind
Yeah.
of how I look at things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think a lot of things can be like broken down in life. I always think like there's saying out there, it's like if it doesn't make you money, it doesn't make you happy, and it doesn't help you grow, then it's like, is that really something that you need to be focusing your time and energy on? It kind of makes sense. I always say like for me, because like let's face it, life gets busy, and sometimes we get overwhelmed with all the different things that are going on and thrown our way. And then it's like, as entrepreneurs, we're always thinking like, okay, what's the next idea? Like, what if we do this? What if we do that? And sometimes I'm like, fuck, like I feel like I need to reframe and refocus. And so I'll write down like, okay, like what are my two most important rocks right now for these next couple months? And then I write down the 50 things that I'm currently doing. I'm like, okay, how many of these 50 things really help me achieve these two rocks? And sometimes I go through that exercise. I'm like, fuck, there's only like 3 or 4 things I should be focusing on right now, not all 50. And it's an easy way for me to say no. They say starting is about saying yes, growing is about saying no.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's hard to say no. Sometimes it's even harder to say yes because people have that fear complex in themselves of not feeling they're good enough or they can't do it, but you'll never know unless you try.
absolutely. So you told me before we started recording that you just got back from, was it Japan
Yeah,
or India?
I was in India and I was in Japan before that. I'm about to go back to Japan the 20th.
Dope. And what are you doing out in India?
I was hosting a skateboard day and meeting family and stuff, and everything that I thought about India before prior going there, like it was amazing. Like the food, next level, the people, it was hot, whatever, but just growing and expanding and everyone says travel, whatever, but I believe that traveling is like the greatest teacher because you get out of your environment and you get to see the difference, of how other people live and seeing how fortunate we really are here.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the highlight of your India trip?
It was just, it's to say one thing is just like the people and the people and the welcoming, like they brought me like a cape and flowers and just
Really?
like open arms and
Damn.
it was just amazing. Like it was being there for a Go Skateboarding Day was huge, and then they happened to have like a drug awareness, like we had a drug awareness thing there for Mumbai, and that was huge. And then they did a whole like choreographed like act if how alcohol and drugs affect a family household, and they acted it out for
Sure.
all the skaters and everything, and everyone watched patiently, and like it was amazing.
That's pretty freaking dope, dude. Was there like out there is skateboarding like super popular with the younger generation?
Yes, it is. It's just not evolved yet. Like it's
Really?
like it's expensive for the products we have out here. So for skaters to have like the proper support and setups and stuff, it's like they don't have what we have, but they still have a passion and love for it like anybody else. So it
What do you,
was
what do you mean when you say proper setup?
like, like your board and everything, like their setups were just,
Just trucks, wheels,
yeah, trucks,
bearings,
wheels, and
deck?
bearings were just not up to par because they
Yeah.
couldn't afford it, but they were
Uh,
using what they had to handle business. And
yeah.
it's just like I'm just filled with gratitude just of not only realizing once again like how fortunate we are here in America, but like how we're appreciated too. Like me as a professional skateboarder going somewhere and being like open, like open arms and love and everything. Like it was amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I'm curious because like I used to skate back then, and then I don't skate anymore, but I feel like I see the setups now, and they're very similar. At least they look similar to back in the day, in the '90s and stuff like that. Has much changed in terms of like the wheels and these decks and the bearings,
Nah,
or not really?
just companies and with the wheels, urethane, independent trucks is still the biggest company. I skate for them,
I'm
so
surprised the design hasn't like evolved at all.
yeah, no, like
It's kind of crazy, right?
yeah,
To think
they
about.
got it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They got it down. Everything is just manufacturers and teams and companies, but it's like everything is still solid. You know?
yeah. I remember I used to like skating. Was it the decks were birdhoused? Are they still around?
Yeah, Birdhouse is still
It's still
around.
around.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, Birdhouse is still. That's a OG
Yeah.
company, and it's just like a household name.
Okay.
You know?
Spitfire wheels, bearings were Lucky bearings and some what was the other one? It was like Black Panther. Are they still
Yeah,
around?
Black Panther from Shorties, yeah,
Yeah.
and Spitfire's still one of the biggest wheel companies. Like,
Okay. What about Venture trucks,
yeah,
independent
Venture
trucks?
Trucks is still around. Yep, yep,
Damn.
still one of the
They
biggest.
must be doing pretty good, man. They've been around for 30
Yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah, forever. Like,
Yeah.
so it's still all the OG companies, and when it comes to like trucks and stuff, whatever, like they got it locked. There's not really no new truck companies or anything because they have it down.
Are a lot of companies like because when I this is back 30 years ago, Nike was just kind of starting to do like skate shoes and stuff like that, and some apparel. But are there a lot of other companies like Adidas and all these mainstream like apparel athletic companies that have kind of entered the skate space?
Oh yeah, Adidas, New Balance,
New
Asics.
Balance.
I skate
Yeah.
for Asics, so like, but yeah, they're all coming into the skateboarding space and giving out deals, supporting it. So,
Who are your primary sponsors right now?
Skate Mafia, Independent Trucks, Asics, Paradox Script, Good Parking, West Side Recovery. No, that's my company, but
That's
it's
your
not.
company?
It's not a skate
Yeah.
company,
Tell me
but
about tell me about West Side Recovery. What's that all about?
so yeah, it's a substance abuse mental health facility. We do partial hospitalization, intensive outpatient and outpatient, and we help people get off drugs and help. I personally started this to use my experiences to help others and get past their problems. So we're located in San Diego, and we help people get off drugs and get back on their path to their empowering themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know Brandon and Brandon Novak, when he came on, we went like really in depth into like all the drugs and alcohol stuff. I was telling him on the show, like I used to have a full blown addiction when I was younger to like Xanax and, partying and all that sort of thing. And I recently took a break from drinking. I did 76 days. And dude, that was the first time I ever took a break from drinking. And my freaking business took off, my fitness took off, everything was like just growing relationships. I became a better leader and I accomplished more and I was so much more productive in those 76 days than I had ever been in any other stretch run in my entire life. And a lot of good came out of it. And this past 4th of July weekend, I started drinking again. And, I was a little bit disappointed in myself, to be honest with you, but there was a lot of good that came out of it. For one, I had never tried to stop drinking at all, and so initially I was like, I'm just gonna do 14 days, take a break. And then I got to day 14, I was like, I'm gonna keep this going. And there was a stretch where I thought maybe it'd be a forever thing. But also the second thing was I didn't realize how easy it was for me. And so I think now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go through seasons like multiple times a year to where I take breaks from drinking and just dial things in. So I'm gonna enjoy like July, August, and at the end of the summer, like when September hits, I'm gonna do like another stretch run and just dial it. And I'll probably do this like 2 or 3 times a year. And I think balance is key if you are gonna drink. I don't think that you should be doing it all the time. And I honestly like I feel like now the summer is more enjoyable for me because I just went through a stretch run. I could really dialed things in. I leveled up, and now it's like okay, cool. Let me take a breather, enjoy it a little bit, and then I'll dial it in again.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, everyone's different and stuff, and some people who are real alcoholics can't do that. And so my hats off to anyone who could drink responsible and stuff. But if, yeah, I mean, the data's there for yourself. You see how better your life was with taking these
Yeah.
breaks. So
My energy was so much better too.
yeah, it's just you're on point. And for me, like I've been sober for 8 years, and
Good for you, bro.
I love drinking. And like as far as me, it's like I don't like drinking a little bit. I mean, who wants to have like two drinks? You know what I mean? I want to, I'm gonna go in. But so it's just everything since then has taken off, and I'm just like, why would I go back to feeling any type of way when I can, like, as a man, stand on 2 feet and actually get those same endorphins like through other things like working out, skating, helping people, meditation. And I realized through when I was studying and, spiritually and stuff that you can access the effects of any drug or alcohol from within. And you could do that yourself without having
Mm.
to take anything.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you, man. Like during those 76 days, like I had so much energy and there was a lot of times where I felt like I was like, man, like this is like a high that I've never felt before. It was a high from like just all these endorphins of like working out every day, just having all that energy and literally like all the production and growth that I was experiencing mentally that gave me a fucking like big boost. And so I just remember being out and I'm like, fuck, I feel great right now. Like great, better than I ever did on any night drinking or partying and doing any of the extracurricular stuff. I felt better than all that on many occasions. And so I agree with you. Like there's something spiritual that triggers in the mind when you're sober and you're productive and you're growing that just like, I don't know, it just makes you feel good, dude.
Yeah, that's huge, man, and that's amazing that you're coming to that realization, and it's not easy because not everyone can do that. So it's empowerment no matter how you look at it. Like it's just recognizing that is just a step towards something good, and I'm looking forward to hearing how that like turns out. But
I appreciate that,
it's just
man.
like, yeah, it's amazing, and a lot of people nowadays are starting to realize that. Like I said, if something isn't empowering you, it's disempowering you, and that's what the turning point for me was. I'm like, what am I getting out of this? Like, I'm just spending my money on this or that, whatever. I'm like, and it took me a while to be able to go out and like, I'm like, I'm not gonna have as good as time when I'm like raging and going crazy, popping champagne and everything. But I got to the point to where I had a lot of good times, but I can actually go out to the point where some people are just like, you're not drinking? I'm just like, no. And they're like, how are you? Like, I'm having just as good as time as anyone?
Mm. Dude, that was another takeaway from me that I didn't know. I always thought when I stopped drinking or if I took a break that I have to stay at home and I couldn't go out and like have fun with everyone. And that was a big limiting belief, like you just mentioned. Like I was able to go out during those 76 days. I would go out with my friends, and there was nights where I was going out getting bottle service. I even went out to Vegas
Yeah.
one time, and there was a couple times where I actually bought the whole table, and everyone had a good time, and I didn't even have one drinking alcohol. I just would drink my soda water and dude, freaking Topo Chico never freaking tasted so damn good, bro. Topo
Right?
Chico, Pellegrino. I don't know what it is. I never liked sparkling water in my life. But once I stopped drinking, I was like just fiending sparkling water. I don't know what it was, dude. You drink sparkling water?
Oh yeah, that's how it be. And I mean, leveled up from there, I'll be like, I'll have them make me a drink. At the bar, I'm getting a drink. I'll be like sparkling water. Put some watermelon there. Give me a lime, some olives. Like put an umbrella on there. I'm like, you got some smoke too. I'm like,
That's pretty
So
funny. So yeah, I mean the sparkling water was big. But to circle back to my point was I didn't realize I could go do that and everyone would say, dude, like how are you out right now not drinking? I'm like, dude, I'm having a great time. I would be loose. Because I think most people when I started drinking when I was younger because I felt like I needed to have a drink to let my guard down to loosen up. And I think that's most people. But I'm like, dude, I'm fucking loose sober now. Like I'm such a confident man now that I'm just loose sober. And I never was born that way, but it's just like everything that I've forced myself to do, all these podcast interviews, I'm always like hosting meetups and I'm around just constantly around people. I'm hosting webinars, I'm hosting my mastermind calls, and I'm speaking on stage now. And so it's like all these reps and at bats have forced me to be comfortable around people sober. And so I'm like, I don't need to have a drink to be loose. I'm already fucking loose,
yeah,
you
that's
know?
that's amazing, man. I love that for you, and that's real power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
like everybody has that same power from within. You just got to be able to access that and like switch it up sometime. I mean, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, you already know what that means. So it's good to switch up what you've been doing and see what you're really capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. So, dude, it's funny just talking to you right now. Like, I'm already like my brain's thinking like, I can't wait till the summer's over because I can't wait to fucking dial it in again. Like, actually like excited for it already, and it's only been I jumped back into the drinking 4th of July weekend, so Thursday till whatever now. It's been a week, and I'm already like excited for it again.
That's
So,
huge.
yeah.
That's excited for the real party, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that honestly, that's where the growth happens, and I noticed the biggest change. I was just telling my buddy last night, I'm like, dude, the biggest change from when I was not drinking from 76 days to now that I'm drinking again is like my energy levels are like a lot lower now that I'm like drinking again. Just like I don't have that same energy.
Yeah. That's how it be, and that's what I noticed. Like with me, my skateboarding, business, relationships, like everything you just mentioned, just elevated. So I was just like this is what I really want. So and you got that within you. So
Yeah.
I'm hyped for you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, real quick, the only way the show grows, the only way we continue to bring on bigger and better guests is if you guys rate, review, and share the show. So if you could take 2 seconds or the click of the thumb to review on Apple or Spotify, it will mean the world to me. But more importantly, we'll be able to reach more entrepreneurs and more real estate investors and help them build wealth through this podcast. Now back to the show. So, you got a lot of stuff online here. I got to ask you, you infamously jumped off of a bridge and got hit by a car, dude. Tell me about that story, man.
Well, this is like when I was, partying, raging, and I was like, I had some legal issues, and we had a bonfire, and the cops were coming, and they were coming in, and I was like, let me get up out of here because I can't get questioned. And I was in the back of one of my friend's truck when we were leaving, and I was like, and the cops were stopping all the cars. I was like, oh yeah, this ain't the move. So I was like, yo, I'll go up on the bridge and just like when you get through the cops, like meet me on the bridge. You know what I mean? And I was like, it was the Ingram Bridge. And
Oh, and PB?
yeah.
Okay, and
And
that goes into the Mission Bay, right?
yeah.
Got it.
So I'm waiting on the bridge, and then I see cops like coming up the bridge with their lights on. And I'm just like, damn. So I start like walking up, running up the bridge, and I'm just like, oh. I look across, I'm like, oh, if I just hop over the center divider, they can't make a U-turn on the bridge. So I'm gonna just go hop over the center divider and walk down the other side. And I ran across the bridge and I like hopped over the center divider and then noticed the bridges were fucking split.
Mm.
And the other bridge was way over there, and I was just like, and then I
And
just
you were already
fell.
committed?
No, I just like, cause I just didn't. It was at nighttime. I just went over and jumped over, and I was like, and I just like started falling, and I fell 50 feet,
Oh,
not
fuck.
into the water, like onto the ground.
Oh, and was it like an embankment or was it flat?
It was like a little embankment, like next to the water, but yeah, and that's when I broke my leg.
Fuck. Is it those concrete embankments under the freeway passes that are like kind of slanted?
It was like there's like a walkway under the bridge, and then like dirt on both sides. Like I fell right onto
Oh,
the
fuck.
concrete. Like,
Dude, that sounds so painful.
yeah, but it was just like one of those things that it was like a crazy experience.
It just happened so quick. And
Yeah.
you knew right when you jumped and saw that, you're like, fuck.
Oh, right when I jumped, I was like, the first thought, I was like, oh, it's over with. It's done.
Damn.
I'm out of here. And then
You thought you were gonna die because it was
no,
that. It was that
yeah,
bad.
it was like I was like, oh, I'm dying. And what's so crazy is like, first thoughts were like, nobody's gonna know what really happened. They're gonna think I killed myself. Second thought, I was just like, oh, I'm already leaving, and I just got here. And I was just like, wait a minute, I just got here. And then like a whole psychological thing happened that I remembered like coming here
Mm.
to like Earth, like and being and remembering that it was way more gnarlier coming here than about to die.
Mm.
Like I remember it being scarier being born than about to die. And
Mm.
that's what was crazy.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just think we came from somewhere, and that's what made me like what validated that like came from somewhere else, because I remember like actually coming here and remember my first thoughts of like being born and thinking like, oh shit, I fucked up. What did I just do?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be a mission.
Because, dude, it fucking I don't know about you, bro, but like I'm gonna be 39 and I'm gonna be 39 next month and I'm gonna be 40 soon. And I'm like, my life has gone like that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, in 30 years I'm gonna be 70. And so I know that's gonna go like that. So I'm just like, do you feel the same way? Like this whole life just happened so fucking quick.
Absolutely. Like when I jumped off that bridge, it seemed like, yeah, like I said, I was like, I'm already leaving and I just got here. Like, and I was just like, that was like so fast. Like it was like nothing, you know? And it was insane because that was like a spiritual awakening for me. Like something in my brain remembered actually like being born and remembering coming from somewhere else, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And remembering it was a decision to come here. And me like getting here, being born, remembering like, oh shit, like I just fucked up. Like what did I just do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but we don't remember, like we don't, you know, like a lot of people spiritually, you know, where we came from or where we're going, but like, you know, that's like what I remember.
Totally. So then you land, and what was that landing like?
Dude, I landed and then I was just like, I lost like my like knees hit my chest or whatever, and I was just like, I thought I was dying right
You landed,
there.
your feet hit first.
Yeah, yeah. And I landed on my feet, so like I was on the ground, like the wind was knocked out of me and I was like gasping for air. I thought I was like dying and then I caught my air and I was like, oh, okay. And then like I tried to move and then my leg like folded, like it was broken. I was like, oh shit, like my
But
legs broke, like, you
below
know.
the knee or above the knee?
Oh, below the knee.
It just like fucking completely
Yeah, the
buckled.
tibia and fibula.
Oh,
So
it just snapped.
yeah, so I
Fuck.
was just like down there, and then some, you know, some people down there came over and was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Whatever, and I'm like, "Oh, call the ambulance. I fell off the bridge." And there was, you know, some Hispanic homies, and they're like, looked at the bridge. They're like, "You didn't fall off the bridge, Holmes." Like they didn't believe me, and I
Yeah.
pulled up my leg. I'm like, "No, look," and they're like, "Oh shit," you know.
Damn. That's freaking crazy. And then the cops rolled up too.
No, turns out the cops weren't even chasing me.
Oh, damn. Damn.
They weren't even chasing me.
That's
Like
crazy.
they weren't even chasing me.
Damn.
It was all in my head.
Is all in the head. Damn, dude. That's the craziest part of the story, bro. And so then what was the recovery like for that? Because I mean, I see your Instagram, you're out freaking skateboarding and ripping it. And so you did a full recovery since
Yeah,
then.
it was 6 months.
6 months.
It was 6 months.
Damn, that's freaking that's got to be hard on you, huh? Not been able to skate for 6 months.
No, yeah, it was a mission. And the thing of it is I didn't even have surgery on it. Like they broke it back together in the hospital when I was awake, no surgery.
Whoa.
So that, you know,
So there's no like rod or anything in your leg.
no, not on my right leg, but a year later I broke my other leg.
Mm.
I got ran over by a car.
How'd you do
So
that?
I got ran over by a car.
Skating or what?
No, just in front of a party.
Really?
Yeah,
You were just
and
at a
that
party.
was worse because I got put into a coma and I actually died. Actually died in that one.
Bro, what happened? What were you doing at this party? Tell me the story.
I was it was a while ago. It's like just like turned pro, you know what I mean, and like was celebrating and giving someone directions, and I woke up out of a coma, and it turns out like I got hit by, you know, what one of the people in the party was drunk and hit me, and so it was a whole thing like but ran me over like full on the top of third gear, you know.
Fuck. Was this one of those like street parties where like people are ripping their cars around?
No, we were in the party, but people were out front. I think I don't know what happened. Like I was giving directions and I just like woke up out of a coma. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
that's fucked up, man.
So I got metal on my other leg, and that took like 6 months too.
Damn, dude. What year was this when this happened?
This is a minute ago. This is like 24 years ago, like 2000, yeah, like 2000.
Okay. Oh, this is a long time ago.
Yeah, a long
And
time
when was the
ago.
bridge incident?
That was like right before. That was a minute ago.
Okay. Okay. So these are both like you're like still like on the come up.
Yeah, but this was like the most like this is like right when I was turning pro. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like I was like, you know, it really they told me I wasn't gonna be able to skate again, you know what I mean? So recovering from that was a whole mental recovery, and especially them telling me I wouldn't be able to skate again and the metal in my leg and being, you know, out of a coma, smashing my skull, and like just like I was like a different person after that, you know?
Yeah. Fuck, I can imagine, dude. So you're out in Japan recently. You're gonna go back out to Japan. I can imagine like the Jap. I don't know this, but like I know the Japanese. They probably are super into skateboarding. I know they're super into like American sports. What's that like going out to Japan as a pro skateboarder?
Japan is the future, and like I grew up there, you know, when I was little, so I have like family there. I was like unofficially adopted, like by my brother who like taught me how to kickflip and everything, and now I mentor his sons, and one of them skates for my company, Skate Mafia, and then the other one skates for another company. So it's just it's live, it's all love, it's just like peace. You don't have to worry about nothing. It's safe. It's like it's just a whole different energy. Like Japan is amazing.
Yeah. What's your favorite city in Japan?
Yokosuka, where I'm from.
That's where you grew up?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
What's it like there?
Just peaceful.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like the food, safety, everything. It's just a whole different vibe, you know?
Yeah. I love sushi, man. I've always been curious, like, what's the sushi like in Japan?
It's just next level. Like it's just they have those like conveyor belts, like, you know, and you could just like take what you want. Like you can pay like it's like almost like a buffet style. Like you just pay lump sum, you could just eat as much as you
Really?
want. So it's
That's
like,
dope.
yeah.
I haven't seen one of those in a while, but like I remember seeing them like at the malls. Sometimes they would have like the buffet style sushi. So most of the sushi bars out there are like that.
No, like, well, that's like traditional Japanese
It
style.
is
You know
really.
what I mean? So, and it's different than like American sushi. Like a lot of the sushi out here is like Americanized, has like a bunch of stuff on it, whatever. But the sushi in Japan is like it's an art. Like it's like the cut of the fish and the quality and how fresh it is. But you'll like the endorphins from the fish out there. It's so like fresh. You'll be like high off of that.
Really? That's pretty funny,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, I've always wanted to go. There used to be a direct flight from San Diego on Japan Air to Tokyo. No longer the case, but it's like, dude, not a big deal. I can go out to LAX and fly up. Definitely want to do it, man. I haven't traveled much of Asia. My mom grew up in Taiwan, Taipei, and so I've been out there one time, and the food was great, the people were great, the culture, and talk about big city, like that's a big ass city. So I definitely want to see like there's so much more of the world I haven't seen, Asia I haven't seen, and only so much time I feel like, but I got to get out there and see more of it.
Yeah. Yeah, as a businessman and just everything you got going on, like I use it like to like reset and get inspired, and it'll be really good for you. I definitely recommend it. Like just being in different cultures, and that's the best learning experience, just learning stuff about how different people live and everything, and you've seen it here, and you'll come up with your own ideas, and you can bring that back and implement it and everything. So it's like it's a good inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. So, skateboarding wise, like tell me like your weekly routine. All right, how much time are you putting into the skate game these days?
Like it's still like a huge part of my life. Like we're constantly working on projects and, you know, contests, demos, like where nothing's like really changed for me, but just like, you know, my routine's different. Like I wake up, you know, meditate, stretch,
Yeah.
have breakfast, you know, call the homies and like just decide we're gonna go. Like everything's like organized for me because I can't just be out on the streets like sitting around just, you know, like just hanging out, you know.
Hmm.
So I usually just have, you know, all the stuff I want to do, and then have, you know, my filmers and crew, and then just try to execute it.
Yeah. That's dope. What's your content crew look like, videographers and all that?
It's like one of the owners of Skate Mafia, Dan Conley. I got my other boy Jesse, Cameron. Like we got a bunch of filmers in San Diego, and whoever's available at the moment, we just meet up, and it's we're all friends, so we just go skate and make it happen.
Yeah. Typically just like one videographer when you're out there at the skate park or whatever you're doing, or do you typically got more?
Skate park is just more for like fun and training, but you know, we usually have two videographers, and then if we're getting some like crazy, then we'll have a photographer from Thrasher come out or something.
Okay.
hmm
And so skate park's more just for fun, and then where's like your bread and butter if you're like, hey, like I want to go like work on my game a little bit.
Probably Linda Vista Skate Park or the Encinitas Poods Park.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the rest of it is what? Like you guys go to like just like popular skate like iconic spots and try to just like rip new tricks, or what's the move there?
Or make new spots, or just like there's new infrastructure, like buildings. Who knows? You might, you know, might be out here. There might be a spot, and they do some construction, and it might be a new spot, and we hit that. So skate. That's what's so cool about skateboarding. It just keeps the brain going because it's infinite. You know, it's never the same. There's always new spots. There's always like new things to do.
How does the body hold up, dude? Because I'm always impressed with y'all like professional athletes, whether it's like NBA or football, and then you're a pro skateboarder. But like I remember as a kid just skating, and I played basketball as a kid growing up. I remember like my body be like aching back then as like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
as like an 11, 12-year-old. So like I have a lot of respect for you, like doing this game at a high level at this age. Like, how is your body holding up overall?
It's good. It's just I don't if I get injured or hurt, I try my best to just be like, okay, my body's telling me like I need to take a break. And sometimes we're addicted to like, no, I need to get my endorphins or I'll just do other things like I work out, 5 days a week anyway. So I'll do that. But if I'm hurt with skating, a lot of people well, if you're professional football player, whatever, like you have to go to practice. You have to,
Yeah,
and that's what I love about
they gotta play through it.
yeah, like I'm not doing that. Like my body, I'm not hurt. I'm not skating. I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna wait till I'm fully healed and I'm gonna listen to my body and take care of myself. Like I'm always putting my body first. Like if I'm not
Mm,
feeling something, like I'll regroup
yeah.
and like but one thing I have so much stuff going on with skating, with a recovery facility and traveling everything, like I'll burn myself. I'll be traveling overseas and like come back and be jet lagged and be like, "No, I gotta get straight to it," and then I'll burn myself out, and then I seriously won't be able to move it. I'll be just, like, at home, like, done, so I need to get better at that, you know? So sometimes I'm like, "You know what? It's okay to take a day off doing nothing, like, once a week," and that's really hard for me to do,
Mm,
like, because the body needs to heal, you know?
yeah. A question for you. So, like, I know, like in the golf game, like professional golfers, let's just say, I feel like Tiger Woods kind of like changed the game there. But before Tiger Woods, it was like a lot of these golfers would be like out of shape, they'd be overweight, and like they could still play at a pretty high level. But then now you see all these like freaking golfers. They're like freaking. A lot of them are jacked. They're in the weight room. Like they're freaking in really good shape physically, and they train a lot and they strength train and all that. And, now you're seeing the level of play in the golf course like go up. So I guess my question for like on the skateboarding side, I know you mentioned early in the show, it's like, a lot of those guys weren't taking care of their body as much 30 years ago, but now a lot of them are. So are you seeing a lot of like skaters now, like in the weight room, strength training and like eating certain things, or maybe even taking testosterone, TRT?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about testosterone. Like, I'm sure a few do, but definitely in the weight room,
Yeah.
working out. Maybe not so much like I don't see with like the eating. Some of them definitely, but definitely training and working out and actually looking at going to the skate park is like, oh, I'm training instead of like. But with me, it's like skateboarding is about having fun and stuff. But people like who are some of my friends who are actually in the circuit competing, like, no, they will be training. They will have a trainer. There's even trainers for the Olympics and all that now. So and coaches. So
What part of skateboarding is in the Olympics? Which event is it?
the bowl skating, very like street skating, like it's all encompassed in the
All of
Olympics.
them.
Yeah,
Dude, that's pretty crazy.
yeah, it's coming up. 20. Think yeah, this month. It's in Paris.
Is in Paris? Yeah, and then X Games was just going down like a weekend ago, right? Up
Yeah,
in
yeah, I was just
Ventura.
there.
You
Yep.
were there?
Uh huh.
That's dope, dude. Hey, did you ever compete in the X Games?
Yeah.
You never did like the competitions?
No,
Just
no.
straight street
I've
stuff?
done the competitions and everything, but I was supposed to do some X Games stuff. It just like some, some BS ended up happening, and with timing and scheduling. But we'll see. You got to really like qualify and train and all that.
Who was one skateboarder like when you were on the come up as a younger skater? Like who was like one or two guys that you're like you fucking idoled to become and you really looked up to?
Oh, Tom Penny for
Tom
sure, and
Penny?
Peter Smollett. Yeah,
Peter Smolak,
like
okay.
who was my mentor. So I was lucky
Yeah,
enough to.
I remember seeing him in the Shorties
Yeah,
videos.
yeah. I was lucky enough to have him in my corner, and he was no joke.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a in the Shorties Fulfill the Dream video, Peter Smolik had like a fucking hard banger fucking like whole session. So sick.
Yeah. He's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
Peter doing these days?
He's chilling, like doing, like race car stuff, like RC stuff, like tricks. Like I don't know. He's working on some crazy project.
Race car stuff, really? Like
Like
NASCAR
no,
shit?
no, no. Like building like RC cars and like doing like tricks. like with anti skating and stuff, and like doing some. He just released like some of his old boards for shorties and stuff.
Oh, that's
So
pretty dope.
yeah,
Where does he live these days?
I think he lives in San Diego.
Okay.
So
Some of the guys I have on the podcast, a lot of them are like entrepreneurs and stuff, and they say like for example, who was it? Brian Malarkey. He's like a top chef. He's got a bunch of famous restaurants in San Diego. He just opened one in La Jolla, but he's got Urban Wood down here in Little Italy. He's got Anime, and so he was on the podcast. He's telling me like one of his biggest investors is Tony Hawk.
oh, nice.
So a lot of these guys are like, it's interesting to see like who's investing in what. And then fucking Mikey Taylor, he was on. That's dude's just raising $40 million a year in his real estate funds, like building all sorts of apartment buildings and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's cool to see.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know? It's like it's amazing to see skateboarders just like doing other things other than skating. Like we are just talking about, like with the phone, with the internet, you could do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to put your mind to it, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of like carryover as like an athlete. Like, you know, you guys are professional athletes because you're like so competitive mentally. I mean, learning all these new skateboarding trips or tricks and competing, like there's a certain mindset that comes with that, and always wanting to get better and work on your game. I think there's a lot of carryover between that mentality and like business. And I think that's why you see a lot of, you know, you guys and a lot of other professional athletes that once they retire from the game, they get into the business game, you know what I mean? And you see them do pretty good.
No, yeah, because skateboarding is one of the best life lessons, and I tell people it's just because you're failing all the time. You know, you're constantly trying tricks, failing, and it's like skateboarding is just like life. It's not about you're gonna fail. It's just what you do when you pick yourself back up. Just like skating, like, you know, oh, what did I do wrong? And you go through that so much in skateboarding, everything is easy after skateboarding. Like, I'm not scared to fail. I'm gonna be like, yo, let's try this, work it out. Let's work again. What did we what could we do different? You know, it's always everything in this world happened with the right questions, you know, like, oh, not, oh, I failed and like this didn't work. It's like, no, what did we do wrong? What could we do better? What did we learn from that? Because even if you do fail, there's still a lesson in everything, you know? It's like, the question is, what did we learn? And what could we do different, you know? So that's what I take from skateboarding into the business world.
Yeah, that's so good, dude. I remember like learning like skateboard tricks back then, and it was always just like a lot of reps, a lot of at bats to get these tricks down. And back then there was no like YouTube, of course, but a lot of those like that stuff applies today. I always tell people now, like in real estate investing and business, I'm like, you know, even putting out content, I'm like, dude, it's about the at bats. It's about the fucking reps. And like, yeah, you're gonna fucking suck in the beginning. It's part of the fucking game. But if you can fucking stay consistent, you can get the at bats in, get the reps in, and just think like, hey, like I'm just gonna get 1% better each time. You're gonna look back 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 12 months from now, and be like, fuck, I'm a completely reinvented person. And that's how the fucking game works, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, brother, I appreciate you taking the time, man, coming down to the studio, talking shop, dude. Always a big fan of everything you're doing, man, and it's cool to fucking see you still ripping your shit, bro.
Hey, I appreciate you, and I love everything you're doing, and I'm here to support. I love that you're in Dago and inspiring others. I love it all. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate that, man. Where can the folks get in touch with you if they want to learn more about your recovery thing as well?
You can reach out to me directly. My Instagram's bturner_, or you could check out Westside Recovery SD, like San Diego.com, and, you know, Skate Mafia, independent trucks, you know, like we all out here. So anyone needs help, you know, it's Westside Recovery, and let's go.
There it is. I love it. We're going to have to get you out for one of our yacht meetups here sometime soon, man. We take out the Champagne yacht and go out there about once a month during the summertime. So we'd love to have you out sometime, bro.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you, man.
There it is. He's Brandon Turner. I'm Rich Summers. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.